What's up?
Nothing.
Cat.
How do you make this all?
I make it okay because it feels okay. I love being here with you.
Just like that.
Just like that.
This needs to end.
Of course.
Hello, I'm Rick Love for Sonoma TV at the 2016 Sonoma International Film Festival, and this is our filmmaker interview series. And we have with us director Sergio Navaretta, who's brought the feature, The Colossal Failure of the Modern Relationship, an ensemble piece about love, cheating, and the complications both raise. And you can use that for your press materials if you want.
Thank you. It's great.
I put that on my own.
Excellent.
So, it's a very sunny film and very fun film, but you chose this title that makes it seem like a sociology paper. So talk about that a little bit.
Because, yeah, in some ways it is. In some ways it is, to be honest. We wanted to deal with something that was really important, really timely, and something that Alessandra and I have been thinking about a lot. Alessandra's the writer, producer. So, you know, how do you tell that story without scaring people away? Mm-hmm. You have to make it palatable. You have to make it fun, sexy. So I think I use the images and the humor to kind of ease people into dealing with something that's potentially painful. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody now can relate to in one way or another.
Absolutely. Well, and it's an interesting juxtaposition because the settings are so beautiful, and yet a lot of the emotions and things that are going on there are not.
Are you crazy?
People in a relationship often take each other for granted.
I promise, no funny business.
It can be perfectly healthy to pursue new adventures.
You know, I think the use of opposites in filmmaking is super important, whether it's the music contrasting the visuals or the what people are saying and what they're actually feeling. Just like life is, you know, I think it's truthful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got an array of fine character actors in your film, including Enrico Colantoni from Just Shoot Me, and Veronica Mars, and David Cubitt from Medium. Yeah. How did you bring these actors into your production?
I was so lucky. I was a big fan of Enrico, and I actually met him at the Toronto Film Festival, and you know, it was a fun evening at a party, an event.
His Galaxy Quest is one of my favorite characters.
Really?
Yeah, I love that.
He's wonderful.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught in the movie, he did a little homage to Galaxy. Yeah. So, yeah, I think he didn't think I'd be using that in the movie, but I couldn't help it. No, he's wonderful, and so I got to know him through that one encounter and kind of guilted him out into... I actually approached him for my first feature, looking for Angelina, and he wasn't available, and his agent at the time, I don't think, even presented the project to him, so that was kind of a way for me to say, hey, man.
A good get for you.
Yeah, no, he's great. And when we met him, or we had a meeting with him, we were having dinner, and I said, I really want to do this movie, what do you think? And he said, well, listen, I have, you know, in 5 weeks, I have a small window, a couple of weeks, where we could do this. What do you think? And I didn't want to say no, so of course I said, yeah, you know, and then I go home, talk to Alessandra, like, what? We have no money, no crew. It's like, yeah, you know, we could do this. And I feel like until you pull the trigger, you know, things don't happen. So I'm really grateful that did happen. And then our government agency, Telefilm Canada, came in to help us complete the film afterwards. Mm-hmm. So it was, I mean, I don't want to talk about the budget, but it is, because I think the film should stand on its own, regardless of budget. But, I mean, it was made for a ham sandwich and, you know, a couple of favors. So.
And it looks like $1 million.
Thank you so much.
People, residents of the wine country, or anyone who's ever visited the wine country in Northern California, would be surprised to see this is in Lincoln, Ontario, Canada, the Foreign Affair Winery. So the setting is such an important part to give you those visuals, to pretty visuals, you know, ugly content.
Right.
So how did you find the winery?
Well, we're big fans of the region. We used to spend a lot of time there writing, thinking, creating, drinking wine, of course, and being from an Italian background, it kind of gave me that feeling of being back home. So I think it's one of the best kept secrets, and I'm proud of the fact that we're one of the few movies that feature the region in the way that we do. And oddly, and I think, you know, people from the region have said it looks so sensual and romantic. I said, well, you have it right under your nose. You know, this is something that should be celebrated. And I think, you know, sometimes you think the grass is always greener on the other side.
Bonnie's got me booked on a media tour of wine country.
I've got an idea. What if I were to come with you?
Could be fun. They're early. Hello! Kat, this is Richard, my boss.
Hi.
So your film as an ensemble films, they take me back to other films, and like The Big Chill is one that I think of. But since you have a Canadian film here, The Decline of the American Empire, one of my favorite films, is another. The challenges of working with those ensembles, from casting and from writing clear and distinct voices for all of these people.
Yes.
That must be a major part of the production, because if that doesn't work and they blend, it's not going to work at all.
It was super tricky, and I don't know why we're so drawn to the sort of ensemble model, because other films that we're developing have the same sort of, you know, it starts with one character and then it leads to 3 and 5 and 7, and that actually led to the fact that it's such a strong ensemble piece. Led us to shoot sort of that epilogue at the end, which was shot one year later, because we felt that they were just such great characters. We wanted to, you know, wrap up those arcs. So that happened a year later, and we're glad that it did, because I think there's some great supporting cast.
What did she say?
Well, what could I say? I'm not going to judge.
So, you're not?
No, of course not. No. I'm a one-woman man.
Well, of course.
But are you?
Me? No, I'm a one-man man.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, I think that so the challenge, though, is distinction, is being able to come up with these distinct people, because until you write them, they're all just a group of people.
Yes.
And so and also what makes them distinct a lot of times is the conflict.
Yeah.
So in putting all of that together, how do you make that come out on the film and make that show up so everybody is distinct and we know who everybody is? And now you have a feature, and it's not a short, but you don't want to take half the movie to let us know where everyone's coming from.
Yeah, exactly. I think the key, and I tell this to everyone I collaborate with, is it is extremely important to understand the world and the rules of the world, and then to do character breakdowns for each character. Really study these characters. And something that I worked really hard on with Alessandra, I said, you know, where's Freddie from? What's his backstory? Why is he so wound up, uptight? We need to understand all those things, so when he picks up a wine glass, we know why he's doing it. And I think the key is making sure that everything's motivated.
Absolutely. I mean, I have a theater background, and backstory is you need to know why everybody does everything that they're doing and why they make the choices that they make.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people make the mistake of doing something because it's cool, or because it feels right, or it looks amazing. It has to serve the plot, and it has to serve the story. And if it doesn't, even when you're editing, you must get rid of it.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
No
a
matter
tough
no matter how funny or pretty or anything it was, if it doesn't
Yeah.
fit the arc of the character.
And I give a lot of credit to writers, because they're the ones that have to figure all this stuff out, and then a director just gets to poke holes at it and make sure it works.
About yesterday,
It was a mistake.
there are no mistakes.
No, you're talking about coincidences. There are plenty of mistakes.
And you get this spectacular woman to fall in love with you.
Absolutely. And talk about the editing process a little bit, because you have so many people, and these settings. And the thing about the settings is they're beautiful, but you don't want them to become repetitive.
Right.
You want to try to keep some distinction in those from the beginning of the film to the end of the film.
Yeah, editing was a long process. We had the luxury of time because the budget was so tiny, so people just work when they can. But I collaborated with Jay McRae, who's up and coming editor, was just wonderful. Her sensibilities, sense of time, I think we developed a great relationship in a shorthand so that we could make decisions, and she was able to ask the right questions. Why is this scene here? And you have to be able to articulate, well, because this and this, and
Justify your existence.
exactly. You got to be ruthless in the editing process, but it's super important because it's your movie in the end. And one thing again, my first film we shot on 16mm on film, and I literally had to just shoot what I needed. So the editing was done while we were shooting. So my editor hated me for that. There's no options. I mean, you could swap things around.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. In this film, I consciously wanted to shoot with 2 cameras. But again, I mean, just limited takes. When we had it, we had it. We had to move on. So, but you know, it's with digital technology, everything's changed. You had a lot more latitude and time to play and really discover things. And I think on my next film, I want to make it even smaller. You know, 1 camera, handheld, and just spend all the time with the actors and the material, because in the end, that's, I think, the most important thing.
Absolutely. The film is the colossal failure of the modern relationship director Sergio Navarretta, playing at the Sonoma International Film Festival. I'm Rick Love for Sonoma TV.
What's up?
Nothing.
Cat.
How do you make this all
I make it okay because it feels okay. I love being here with you.
just like that?
Just like that?
This needs to end.
Of course.
They've asked me to start a column for the new Food and Wine magazine. Bonnie's got me booked on a media tour of wine country.
I've got an idea. What if I were to come with you?
Could be fun. They're early. Hello! Kat, this is Richard, my boss.
Hi.
Richard, didn't I introduce the 2 of you?
No, I don't think so.
Yes, of course we did. How could you forget?
I thought so. We even had a chance to chat.
It was so brave.
Mr. Fiore.
Mr. Fury, I'm a huge fan.
He's the one.
Come down here. I need to talk to you.
Are you crazy?
People in a relationship often take each other for granted.
I promise, no funny business.
It can be perfectly healthy to pursue new adventures.
So, are you still in school?
No, I stripped for a year and then I switched over to waitressing.
Plenty of people are polyamorous.
Did you say polyamorous?
She cornered me into this conversation about the polyamorous relationship.
What did you say?
Well, what could I say? I'm not going to judge.
So, you're not.
No, of course not. I'm a one-woman man.
Well, of course.
But are you?
Me? No, I'm a one-man man.
Oh, I like Freddie. Thanks. Richard's pretty great, too.
Richard, honey.
007, stop spy.
Honey!
What about yesterday?
It was a mistake.
There are no mistakes.
No, you're talking about coincidences. There are plenty of mistakes.
And you get this spectacular woman to fall in love with you.
I came here to be with Freddie.